Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Suzerain. Let's continue on from where we last left off. Don't scroll over there, that's not where we want to be. Well, we have some news, mostly from Geopolitico. Lesbia shows evidence of Vaxland missiles in Hegeland. Chancellor Hegel's disgrace at Alliance of Nations. And missiles on Hegeland. You know what? Seems like it could potentially be a problem. A private meeting with David Whiskey. David has scheduled a private meeting with me, but he didn't specify what it was about. I heard a knock on the door. Mr. President, may I come in? Yes, David, please come in. Thank you. He slowly made his way towards the chair in front of my desk and sat down. First of all, thank you for your time. Don't mention it. What's wrong? I want to ask you how you're doing. I mean, I'm fine. Thanks for asking. That's very good. Please be sure to take some time for yourself amid all this. If you ignore the mental fatigue, it will slowly creep in on you. It will poison your thoughts. Thank you for your valuable advice. Thank you and for taking my advice over the years. He started coughing. What a privilege for me. I had a chance to watch my student grow into a fine and strong leader in my lifetime. What a privilege indeed. You tried your best to bring reform to Sordland. That is valiant in itself. It's okay to feel frustrated by failure, but change unfortunately doesn't happen easily. You paved the path for future generations to follow, and they will remember you for it. It wouldn't be possible without you. You're too kind, Mr. President. David coughs again, this time for longer. Disease of cancer, that's my guess. I overheard a conversation the other day near a newspaper stand. It piqued my interest, so I kept listening. They were talking about you. They were calling you a die-hard Malianivist. What do you think about it? I mean, I refuse to be called a Malianivist. My father, Arthur S. Whiskey, used to say, always know yourself. It's good to know that you do. So, the elections are fast approaching. How are you feeling about your chances? I can't say for sure, but I'm hopeful. Good. That is what a leader should say. I'm afraid of an announcement to make for you. An announcement? What kind? After this term is done, I am retiring. I mean, I eat health reasons, probably. I've been in this line of work for many decades now. I swore an oath to myself years ago. I would quit if I ever felt like I didn't have the physical capacity to serve anymore. At that point, I'd become a hindrance. That time has come, Mr. President. My bones are aching, my hands are shaking, my voice is failing. Besides, I'm sure you can find a younger minister who is a little more full of life. He winked at me and chuckled, which turned into another cough. You've been a mentor, a teacher, and a friend. Thank you for your service to this country. It was an honor, Mr. President. David stood up to leave. We shook hands. Best of luck, Anton. Thank you. He turned around and left. On a Friday afternoon in the office. The door opened and Lucian entered. Mr. President, there's a problem. What kind of problem? Mr. Hole wants to speak to you. He's in the White Room. Mr. Hole is the... Yeah, Minister of the Economy. Okay. Do you know what it's about? I was told to come get you, sir. I opened the doors and we entered the White Room. I looked around. Simon was sitting, playing with a pen in front of him. So why do you call me here? Mr. President, I'm here to let you know that I'll be handing you my resignation shortly. Your resignation? What's the meaning of all this? Exactly what it looks like. I'm resigning from my position in the cabinet. I simply cannot go on anymore. What? We boosted the economy. Talk to me. What can I do? How can I help you better? I am sorry, but I've already made my decision. I won't be turning back from it. I suppose I owe you my reasons. I'm afraid I find myself too ideologically different to work as your Minister of the Economy for this government. The decisions we have made have proven that to me. I know when to leave my seat. I will resign at the end of our term. Thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you. Likewise, Mr. President. I took a deep breath. I look at Simon's determined face. I had no choice but to accept your resignation. Simon and Lucian left, and I took a seat alone in the White Room. So everybody's like quitting. I have no... I mean, at least David's still here. That's nice. Future Rayne's cabinet. Lucius Graf challenges Anton Rayne. Swordage foreign minister retires. Wait, was he the foreign minister? Oh, yeah, no, because he's retiring because of health. Okay, so... I'm assuming you're just telling us... I mean, turn 10 seems like a logical point for an ending here. The United Sordland Party Congress. It was the day of the United Sordland Party Congress. For the third time in the party in Sordland's history, a candidate was challenged an incumbent president. Sergei was driving me to the Grand National Assembly for a historic event. I looked out the window as we passed through the small forest dividing the Moon Palace and the Assembly. I thought about the day I announced my candidacy against Edward Alfonso when he was still president. Then I remembered how, just a few years before that, Elwood had challenged Tarquin Sol. How are you feeling back then, sir? I mean, I'm worried about today. I'm sure you're going to win again, sir. There's no need for undue stress. Sergei made a left turn out of the forest and entered the vast garden area of the Assembly. I still don't believe how Miss Graf could run against you. She owed her position to you. It doesn't matter, Sergei. She can do as she pleases. Of course, sir. It's not like she has a chance against you. You parked the car in front of the gate that led the USP's wing of the Assembly. Good luck, Mr. President. See you on the way back. Thank you, Sergei. I entered the building and joined a crowd of influential politicians, lobbyists, and benefactors who had gathered for this turning point. It was almost time for the debate. The crowd dispersed and the members of the USP went inside the Congress Hall. United silent banners hung from every possible spot. I tried to mentally prepare for my speech, but the lingering memories from the first two leadership races were making it hard for me to focus. As if on cue, Lilith strode past me in the hall, accompanied by a large group of her supporters. Instead of her usual beige, she wore a sun yellow skirt and blazer. Yosef was on her left. I tried to ignore them as I entered the hall. I took a seat next to Lucien and waited for the session to begin. Mr. President, time to face Lilith. I can't shake the thought of losing today. Don't think of it that way, sir. Lilith is no match to you. Just the fact that she's a woman cripples her chance of victory. If you remind them who you are right before the vote, you will win the day. I wish I could be that optimistic. Sir, let's get it started. At the podium, Alvin Cavan was there. He was about to introduce the candidates. Ladies and gentlemen, the hall fell silent as he continued. We gathered here today for the 20th Congress of the United Sordland Party for the third leadership race in its history. As one of the youngest members of the Assembly, I am honored to be opening this historic session today. The members of the USP will soon be voting on whether the President Rayne or Lilith Graf shall assume leadership going forward. Before we begin the selection process, I would like to invite both candidates to give very short speeches. First, I'd like to invite Anton Rayne, the first President of Sordland and chairman of our party. I stood up and walked up to the podium and made applause and campaign music. I shook his hand before I began to address the party. Fellow members of the USP, together we have achieved a ton in the past 4 years. I took this office to bring reform to this country. And together, we tried to resist the establishment. I took a deep breath. But I believe if we stand together, nobody can stop us. Help me continue to fight to make this country great. I managed to bring the recession under control. And I don't think Mrs. Graf can provide any alternative. Give me your support. Let's bring our country together. I know you will do the right thing. I'm Morgan West Corps. The campaign music started blaring again as I left the podium. Alvin shook my hand and walked back to my seat to the sound of loud applause. I sat back down next to Lucien. It was a good speech, sir. Congratulations. Alvin continued to speak from the podium again. Thank you again for your speech, Mr. President. Now I'd like to invite the next candidate to the stage. She is one of the most experienced and respected members of the party. We all know her from her accomplishments in Avery and Hostlord and the Sordland's Interior Minister. Let's welcome the former Interior Minister of Sordland, Lilith Graf. The hall started applauding. Lilith walked up to the podium, accompanied by the old nationalist song about the Sword Civil War, Eleta Inta Norsi, or The Light in the Darkness. Her eyes had a fire in them that I had never seen before. Fellow compatriots, it's an honor to be a candidate for the leadership of our great United Sordland Party. She pulled out a handkerchief and dabbed her eyes. Forgive me. This beautiful song always fills me with emotion. My opponent might call that weakness. I consider it a strength. It brings me hope to see all the energy in the Congress Hall today, but hope alone does not suffice. I don't want to listen to songs any longer. I want to sing them from the rooftops. What is it that you want, sons and daughters of Sordland? I'll tell you right now. You want a president who will stand bravely against the wealthy elites in their mansions, rather than kowtow to their every demand. You want a Sordland that protects its own, rather than letting in foreigners with no respect to our culture. You want a strong and united Sordland. And I'm here to tell you that none of these things are possible as long as Anton Rayne is in office. As those who rule the state become more and more alienated from the values that make us who we are. And the deplorables who stand silent against this sink us deeper into the quagmire of moral and cultural corruption. During his Mr. Rayne's term, the USP lost its identity and risked losing its supporters. He made an alliance with PFJP completely against our party's wishes. I mean, I got a majority vote in cabinet, so... He tore his own wife away from her beautiful place at home and forced her into politics in the name of women's liberation. He disgraced the name of Tarkin Soul. We cannot allow him to taint the accomplishments of this party any further. I kept listening. Don't worry, sir. Let her say what she wants. The result won't change. After nearly 4 years of the president behaving anomaly against all my advice, I have no choice but to tender my resignation. I gave you control of Germandre. That's one of the things you wanted. For I believe we could achieve much more, for I still believe in the idea of united Sordland. I appeal to your innate sense of honor and dignity as Swordish people. Elect me as your leader, and I promise that with the Lord as my side, I shall elevate this party and its glorious nations to the heavens. Mr. Rayne, your time leading this country is through. I'm here to bring down the walls you built. Thank you, Morgan West Corps. I joined the applause. The voting began. I filled out my ballot, making an X next to my own name, and lined up to drop it in the ballot box. After all the votes were cast, we sat back down and waited for the announcement. After some time, Albion appeared on the stage again. Thank you everybody for voting today. The results are ready. After counting every vote, we've come to a conclusion. The winner of today's leadership vote is determined to be Anton Rayne. I'm, like, legitimately nervous. Like, my heart is, like, actually, like, racing. The hall reverberated in thunderous applause. I congratulate our now and future president. You remain our leader and represent us into the next election. I knew it, sir. Congratulations. No needs for congratulation, me. YOLO to you. I puff myself up. Okay, now that's settled, it's time we plan our next term together. Yes, we should start immediately. I was officially running for re-election. I still had other parties to contend with, but a second term was within my sights. Maybe this was just the beginning. Okay, so what's going on? Landslide win for Anton. Landslide reign for Rayne as USP Congress. Grasp power, grab fails. And dinner at home. With the election looming, I'd practically been sleeping in the Broom Palace lately, but tonight I'm in a deliberate effort to get home early. Frank was coming for dinner for the first time in months. I told everybody I wanted a family supper, just like the old days. Monica had promised to cook something special. I didn't know if it was just my imagination, but there seemed to be more guards on my complex than usual. I hurried past them, went inside, and locked the front door behind me. I heard steps coming my way. Hi, Papa! I opened my arms and embraced my daughter. She hugged me back happily. Where's your mother? She's in the kitchen. I've got to do some homework for dinner. I followed her with my eyes as she went upstairs. She started to look more and more like her mother. I stepped into the kitchen. Monica was stirring a pot in the stove. Her back turned to me. It smells delicious. Monica rolled around in surprise. Look, surprising somebody when they're cooking food, that's definitely, kind of like a dangerous thing to do. When she realized it was me, she smiled and gave me a kiss on the cheek. Sorry, Anton. I guess I've been on edge lately. Why don't you fix yourself a drink in the living room? I'll let you know when dinner's ready. I sat down in the living room, poured myself a bit of whiskey, and flipped through one of Monica's women's magazines. It took me a second to realize Monica herself was on the cover. The headline was Sordland's Woman of the Year. Suddenly, Frank burst through the door. Sorry I'm late. It was Sheena. We were, studying. He flung his backpack in the corner and sprawled out on the chair. Hope you two are being careful. Don't worry. I've seen what fatherhood does to a man. Frank smirked. He looked like he was about to say something else, but then Dina came down the stairs. Frank! Frank! Hi, Pipsqueak. Fucking got him. The two of them ignored me for a moment and started chatting away about their school. Monica appeared in the doorway and smiled warmly at the sight of the three of us. Dinner's ready. The three of us gathered around the dining room table. Monica laid out the bowls full of zabla. The stew tasted as good as it smelled. Now that we're all here, I wanted to say something. I want to know... Okay, I know the past 4 years have been hard on all of us. I was so busy focusing on the needs of Sordland people that I sometimes forget about Sordland's most important people, my own wife and children. I hope I can make it up to you someday. Monica's eyes were shining. Once the election's over, I'm taking you all on holiday. I like that. What about you, Dina? Yeah, Frank, are you coming too? Sure, as long as we don't go anywhere lame. Where are we going to go? Ladies' choice. Monica and Dina grinned at each other. Frank rolled his eyes. Yes, great, more family time. For now, can we finish dinner? Of course. The four of us ate and animately discussed our holiday plans. Once we had cleared our plates, I went up to my study. I still had work to do. Okay, we got some more news. USP PFJP coalition enters election. A new coalition is sure thing to win the election, and hope is not lost. Sometime later. I mean, like, we've got to be getting... Like, I'm assuming the election is the end of the game. Either we win or we lose. And now we got a coalition with, the PFJP. I feel like it's basically, like, a sure thing, right? Probably. Election speech. My term was almost over. I paced back and forth behind the stage, gathering my strength. This was the last major event before the election. A massive crowd awaited me. It was the biggest gathering of people we managed to assemble during my campaign, and if my advisor was right, it was almost the largest crowd ever assembled at Seoul Square. Ordered by Hosland State University, Hosland Art Sanctuary, the Library of Sordland, and a historic city hall, the square could accommodate nearly 1 million people, and tonight it was packed. A noise of the crowd rose up all around me on all sides. Would I ever address so many people again? Suddenly the music began. It was Vectran Sista, a famous song by the composer of the Swedish national anthem. Victory is close. Then Lucy announced my name and invited me onto the stage. It was finally time. In my dark gray suit and maroon tie, I walked up to the podium as the crowd started applauding. I saw a sea of USB flags and banners before me. It was as if people had painted the square maroon. I took a good look at my electorate. My fellow Sordid citizens, I welcome all who have come here once again to support a new beginning and stable progress towards a brighter future. I'm honored to be running alongside a great man like Lucien Glade. Lucien waved the crowd as they cheered loudly. And I'm grateful to walk this path with the amazing Monica Rayne, who has supported me through the last 4 years. Monica walked out on the stage when I said that. The crowd cheered one more time. And most importantly, I thank you for supporting me through these difficult years. I had to pause and wait for the giant wave of applause to subside. Since 1954, swords have been given cliffs to climb and found the tenacity to climb them. Now we see the valley below. With the power you entrusted upon us, my administration fought to serve your interest alone. Economic instability and depression plagued our country, but together we overcame them. When you asked me to fix our healthcare system, I took responsibility and delivered the best result in 4 years. Thanks to our policy, Sword's people can now enjoy more accessible and higher quality healthcare. We provided the Sword's people with higher quality and more accessible education. We established a minimum wage and expanded the rights and legal protections for our workers. We brought free public transportation to all Swordist citizens. My term saw a great expansion of women's rights. Swordist women now finally have a voice. During our time, the traditional values of Sordland were protected and strengthened like never before. Today, Swordist citizens enjoy more services and liberties than ever before. We established the Free Trade Commission. We ensured a healthy competition so that our citizens can buy higher quality products for less. We now give housing assistance to all Swordist citizens who need it. We're one step closer to eliminating homelessness. The crowd was cheering President of Rayne. As a new member of the CSP, we will walking towards the future with a more confident sets together with our allies. Look at my supporters. They are now yelling 4 more years. These changing times are filled with excitement and opportunity, and here you face a choice. Our opponent policies are dramatically different from ours. They oppose the stability that we're trying to bring to Sordland. The crowd booed at the other candidates. Now we have historic goals within our reach. We will keep building a more hopeful Sordland. Nobody can hold us back. Together, we have been building our dream of Sordland, the great Swordish dream, and today, in this square, the dream is renewed. Let's go forward. The morning has come. Thunderous applause erupted, everyone was cheering my name. I raised my hand and formed a victory sign before I left the podium. That was it. The elections were approaching once again, just like in the beginning. Chapter 4 is done. Checkmate. I think that's the end of the game. I think we did it. I think it's over. On election day, millions went out to cast their votes, setting turnout records in Sordland. Once again, your moment of truth had come. Oh, we lost. We lost horribly, actually. In a historic result, the United Sordland Party did not secure victory in the first time in its existence. The People's Freedom and Justice Party had won. The NFP secured a second spot, while the USP limped in the third. Really? I mean, kind of. I am devastated by the results. Some new independents had managed to enter the assembly. The die had been recast. I was kind of wondering. I was kind of actually wondering, like, how would they do a second term in this game? A year later, President Franz Richter started implementing tax initiatives for small businesses and policies aimed to bring more foreign investment inside the country. He also promoted a social market economy, emphasized the need for the state to ensure that a free market produce results close to its theoretical potential. I protested against the PFJP's policies. Meanwhile, your wife became ever more entrenched in her struggle for women's rights. Monica emerged as a valuable ally to the new administration, representing Sordland women as gender equality policies were made and implemented. You vocally supported her. Your support buoyed Monica's new heights. People began referring to you as Monica Rayne's husband. The years went by. A year later, Franz began making a campaign to rewrite the Constitution of Sordland. Her proposal was aimed at strengthening the government's legislative branch, expanding rights of women and minorities, and eliminating the unequal distribution of campaign funding. He promised you the position of the next president if you supported him. I accept. Unfortunately, the proposal did not pass the assembly. The fact that you had supported it angered your base in the USP, and you were stripped of your membership. You decided that it was time for you to retire from politics. You continued your service as an independent MP until the end of your term, and you did not run for re-election. You felt only relief. Well, you accept the situation or retire from politics completely. It had been decades since you first entered the political arena. You did not know what else to do with your life. I decided to stay in Hostlord. With your political career behind you, you began your new life in Hostlord. I began writing a memoir. After years of your hard work, your memoir, published Suzerain, was finally published. It became an instant bestseller, skyrocketing you to notoriety throughout the country. Rayne famous. You lived out the rest of your days among Hossor's wealthy elites, surrounded by sociopaths and just a few true friends. Your only regret to you is... Wait, what about my marriage with Monica? Like, it was going fine. Did it? Like, I don't... Wow, okay. Well, I guess that's, I did not see it. How do we come third? I'm actually, like, oh, these faces are, like, appearing in the background. They actually, like, scared me at first. So, like, what the hell is this? So, I guess that was Suzerain. Yeah, no, now I'm just kind of have, like, a bitter taste in my mouth. Unfortunately, like, it kind of sucks. Like, I did not expect to, like, lose. But, yeah, okay. That was, Suzerain. I hope you enjoyed. How did we get third? We won an I just don't... Okay, well, I guess that's that then. So thanks everybody for watching. If you enjoyed, thumbs up. Not enjoying, thumbs down. If you want to subscribe, and goodbye.